can't forget say immigration tips go same travel and tour and the airbrew. Go same travel and tour ejumedie ne say enkrata ye de tu kwan. Omo boa ma wonsaka. No matter what. Krata bi a wo pe e dey facilitate wo visa. Visa requirement na bia enye niam ni nyina na wo no. Great on Great Commission TV I may confirm say go same travel and tour beboa. Birth set, passport, bank statement, any school transcript, any the keke certificate I hold or marriage certificate and sase hun document any the keke hunina go same travel and tour beboa. A journey yem fa krata bi ma ubi ana bank statement ana biribi ya de verdict abaka say a fake document and untino ya man ban eno dan chen a ye visa de man crofo etu kwan ye wo work visa ene ha ho nkoye visit visa na akuduru kru no mu a afi na wo be pe connection a wo de be ye work permit na afi wo ko pe adwuma ye bibia de free ha ma ye Australian package your Canadian package, your American package, and your all the European countries, do na Schengen communities, non-Schengen countries in your and also packages. And answer over number 0244 425804 0244 425804. Na waji intrichrimu. Your work and pay package being so air coso. Na ye pe enipa 100 meno kasa yenyamu 85 yenyamu mobile so ne so because obi ho no mo a onye ready ebi mo mbetu eska to ho no mo a omu delay no ma return no mu sika mo because really business ye work and pay no betu ya bi wa normally no ye visa na ye che sika no mu miensa utua first one ye do cover first anu asa etua na afi visa ne ba no etua ne ato ticket amount ye visa bia ye charge bia apart from visit no visa bia ye charge bia no o ticket e ka ho just a visit nko a na wa na okoto o ticket enu ntisa na enchirechiremu nete na work and pay we ne de utua first payment ne ye de ye bibia ma wa visa ne ba no etua second payment third payment no okwa anu akwa akutua me pacho oba ye ba hunu bo a eda ho de obetua ha ene de obekọ ho obi bae ose obi ye akwantuo oma group nkrofo omukọ radio obi so pacho ba menchira wade ba akọ me na me mete ha na me kasa sa TV station we me na awurade fa me so de bae tie ni ye so obi ba ha na se obeya advert bi fa company bi ho a me disclaimer da so ne say men try na duro men try na dekora oye na akoba se isa se ye kan wa ha nti ukọ na anya adwuma ma wa ba ju sika wa ha etimu amotititi vote travel and tour unhwehwe mu yie no se meje presenter didi presenter ne de so obo ho dawuro wo de se before se be ye se adwuma ne de ama wo no na ewo se wa ye o checks Mami bi oba hanom na no ono ne de radio station bi agidin won krampa na ya announcement no enso say nkrofo no almost scam nkrofo ho asem aba but ye de TV no me na awurade fa me so de baaye ena adwuma ye de ye eni nyankopon asem ne afutu sem ne oman no entete ye ho nsem ena afi ye advert ewo so do ye sone advert bahaso Dr. Amuzumuni adi nyina no mu wudin ene ada doctors na aka holamo ene heroes muni adi muni nyina no omu ye adwuma enye obi a odi container si baabi na oni certificate oni license ne de na bahase omeye advert yen so na yen ne ɛyɛ adwuma ye di go same ho nkɔmɔ no your certificate nie your register your license nie Ghana Tourism Authority ama yɛ saa tumi no ɛno na yɛ di dwuma ɛwɔ ha say every year bi a renew your document ɛno nti no sɛ wote travel and tour bi nka wɔ radio so ana TV so a yɛn nhwehwɛmu yie na no mbɛtena ha ɛma o breakdown as at last year August na region bi wɔ hɔ nom koraa your travel and tour be 150 na hɔ nso 2 pɛ ɛna aban agye atum me de saa newspaper no bɛba next week no ma ba ba kyerɛkyerɛ ubi no wahu this year de ɛnkyɛ ɔmo de bɛba by now by August ɛbɛba abribia no after 7 months no ɛna ɔmo de ba abɔnten go same travel and tour yenwuma ayɛyɛ no no eti no akwantuo pɛ sɛ ɔkɔyɛ adwuma wonim sɛ adwuma na akɔyɛ a ma mɛka sɛ ɔpɛ sɛ ɔkɔ school adwuma na wokɔyɛ de amayɛ mmoa o sika yɛ de bɛyɛ visit de ama no de yɛ work and pay a wobɛtumi de atuya bi na akɔduru a watuya de aka etu de nkyerɛkyerɛmu bi ano fa saa number 0244 425804 go same travel and tour number no yɛwɔ Nungua Kantamanto yɛne Great Commission TV ɛna ɛwɔ dan baakum Nungua Kantamanto yɛne Great Commission TV ɛna ɛwɔ ɛdan baakum na sei ɛne ɛhyehyɛeɛ no ɛteɛ yɛwɔ package ɛwɔ Australia yɛwɔ package ɛwɔ Canada yɛwɔ package ɛwɔ America yɛwɔ package ɛwɔ UK ɛne yɛwɔ package ɛwɔ Schengen countries ne nyinaa so ɛne yɛwɔ package ne bi nso wɔ non-Schengen countries so sei ɛnɛte yɛ visa biara terms and conditions wɔ ho oba no afeele wɔ form na yaboa na bibia ayɛ kama now ɛnɛ mpɛ sɛ yɛhwɛ Schengen visa bi waso Schengen meje Schengen visa amount meje Schengen visa amount what is Schengen visa yɛka sɛ Schengen visa what is Schengen visa frɛ bi betena sɛ papa na ɔkyerɛkyerɛ akwantuo ɛma yɛsika nyera no wasan aba Great Commission TV Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Edikosi 6 p.m. fa number yi na one Madam Go Same eni nkomo adeɛ bi a wopɛ ɛwɔ wakwantuo ho bia no ɔbɛboa 0244 42 58 04 0244 4258 04 and 0500 151315 by now the maybe na if you are no pam crofo ba around the say be cry by now no nipa 100 na ye pe no akoduru be 80 na be akoka be 20 into work and pay no opportunity ne da ho wa be busa na wo konso get ready na ye moa na ye hwe ye ka say Schengen visa what is Schengen visa share a quick review of what Schengen visa is. As a result of Yakasa Schengen visa is of the result of Schengen agreement. Originally, no, Schengen agreement was between 5 European nations in 1985. Schengen no your countries bi wo Europe o maka bom ba ko a wo mo ye Schengen countries and ye won non Schengen countries na Schengen countries no me ma overview of it netie ni ye say sa Schengen agreement no yes sign no wo Europe ho na aman a omudi mu tintiman eye 5 European countries in 1985 ewo Schengen tieniye ewo Schengen 1985 in the town of Schengen a ɛwɔ Luxembourg. When you say Luxembourg, a European country. Na Luxembourg so ɛka Schengen communities no ho. Na 1985 ɛna saa agreement no ɔmo kɔɔyɛ. Na ɔmo yɛ no kura a ɛwɔ Schengen a ɛwɔ Luxembourg. Te sɛ ebi a West Africa ha. Na yɛyɛ West African agreement. Te sɛ deɛ nansen a yɛse Burkina foɔ ne other African countries ni bi asrafoɔ ne di so ɔmo nso assign ɔmo agreement bi a ɔmo ayɛ ɔmo passport ne ade no. So ade ase. Na 5 countries ɛna started yɛ 1985 ɛwɔ Schengen ɛwɔ Luxembourg. Ɛhɔ nom na agreement no ɔmo gye tum mu. Na Europe's many nations today can be divided into 2 specific groups. Here were the Schengen countries and here were the non-Schengen countries. The Schengen countries and the non-Schengen countries. Machiro bibi wa mechirem mekanya na machirem otwi na omon so omon hyeda ntitwi ni ye no omatiase. So Europeans or Europe, many nations today can be divided into 2 specific groups: Schengen countries and non-Schengen countries. And your country be a enkasa Schengen agreement no ho. Naturally say eno no oje ho visa wuntimi mfa enante Schengen countries no. Yebe chirim. And while nationals of the Schengen zone, as well as those of European Union, can travel to and fro, and also throughout the Schengen member state visa-free, most visitors from outside the Schengen zone need to have visa to cross any of its borders. So what they say, your friend Schengen visa. Eti omo na womo sa Schengen communities no omo timi etu kwan ofri Luxembourg otimi eko Italy, ofri Italy otimi ko Czech Republic, otimi ko Switzerland, any ade otimi ko Germany. But wona wutie me no, because you are not part, and I will share me no, you are not part of the Schengen countries no. We have Schengen visa. Now the alcohol. What makes the Schengen visa different from most traditional travel visa is that it allows you to travel to and between all the Schengen area countries on a single permit. Manfa passport amanka metro. On a single permit. In other words, semeje Schengen visa. Na me ye ni se me destination eye ebia Germany. Ma submit me document bibia ana Finland, ana Hungary. Na minya visa na. The number of months and say weeks and days a medi ewo Europe na mi crash Schengen visa ntino. Metimi anko all any of the Schengen communities. Etubon se ho no ma obi se or visit 6 Schengen countries. Naturally say a substantive nation bi na obedi can arrive or Abia or the Czech Republic or the Abia Finland and now Hungary. And or the main country no. It was Hollandia. Otimi Echo and obetimi the bus, obetimi the train, obetimi the plane, Ako, sa communities in Nina. nti say na Schengen visa no ye ka ho asem a ete. It makes you able to travel within other Schengen countries with a visa na ye de ama ono. What makes the Schengen visa different from most traditional visa is that it allows you to travel to and between all the Schengen area countries on a single permit. Etimikura Turkey visa mintimi mfa nko Schengen areas no. Mikura Albania visa medebeko Albania nko a mintimi mfa nko any of the Schengen communities. See that? Who doesn't need a Schengen visa? If I am already a citizen of the Schengen area, TNU, Schengen area, and now say, o country ni a part of European Union, then you do not need a Schengen visa. Ebi wo no more. Oh, Europe, you are not part of the country now. Woman is not part of the Schengen community, no. And as a Schengen countries, no. But because we are citizen and our country near part of the European Union, no, you can go to any of the Schengen communities. Obi bebusa say, any me beje visa na mako Turkey. And I say me beje visa na mako Albania. And I say me beje visa ko oman bi a enye Schengen community. Say me visa na expire no. Metimi de akọ Germany and I say metimi de akọ Netherlands and Poland. The answer is no, simply because all passport no a Ghanaian passport. And just as all passport near Ghanaian passport no, you need a visa. It is a command visa. Now you know Poland na a Schengen visa. Poland or Poland that me to call any of the Schengen communities, you know. But you come out on Schengen visa at the man or a particular country be Europe. A one kwa na be timidi akọ. So wo ko baby fufuru bi aje so another visa. Moreover, there are roughly 60 non-European countries, non-European Union countries and territories that have signed visa exemption agreement with the European Union. It's when Europe asem. Europe mantam kese na say continent kese no. Ye wo aman bi o makwa agreement a omo say the AC 1985 e wo Schengen kura e wo Luxembourg no. Omo so abeka ho. But omo starting 1985 no na aman no ye 5 including Luxembourg. But you see ano ababa be ye kese. Ena ababa ye kese no. Yes, also European Union, omo ye part of European Union. To say Africa ye wo ECOWAS. ECOWAS no comprising with the West African countries. And san ye wo AU, African Union. Enti ye wa amanya omo hye sa union no ase. Uko Europe ye wo 16 non-European Union countries, any territories. Nese sa aman no omo nka ho. Omo enka ho. Ebi mo kra sa extend e de kwa akire. Edi sei na menkyerɛkyerɛ mu yete. Ene adesua nete. Ye wa aman bi nso ho no mo a omo nka European Union ho. Ezan say omo no omo ni Europe. What did America no? Said the Ghana ye ne aman bi ewa agreement omutimi ba kurum a eye visa free. North America ye nka North American countries ho, but ye were North American countries bi to say Jamaica, Ghana ye ko ho no ma eye visa free. Ye nje visa ukuduru kuro no ma ne the stamp esimu ama wo. Eti was 60 non-European countries any territories tienie territories te say aman bi a any Europe wo, and so far as omo ni Europe wo no mo no omo nka European Union ho. It's as a European Union ni European countries, but in this case you know omo timi any European Union aya agreement, omo ni European Union aye agreement etu kra omo passporta we visa exempted na sa man bi any Australia enti Australian ko Europe a na o man na o koso no follow under European Union na o hia visa. Obi Brazilian okra Brazilian passport ofri Brazil South America. Obi Canadian or Canada ni na opeso okọ Denmark sisi a obetimi de ne Canadian passport no wato ni ticket na okọ. That doesn't mean say wo Ghana ni a wutie mi awo Brazilian visa ubetimi akọ any of the European Union country because Brazil visa. Visa is different from passport. And see a Australian passport. Why you cry Australian passport? There were Australian citizen. Say ye by birth. Say kromon will free. And now say be a true naturalization. Canadian passport. Ekura will be a ye wo ne ho. Obi a wo ye kronu or minu muni tis will be a Ghana ni. And now say two court nama wa naturalize. Brazil do the same thing. And now for UK. Say obi wo United Kingdom passport. European Union no et omo no omo wa agreement inti no. Any of the European Union countries and our communities no obetimi akọ. And our USA and our friends, so citizens of these nations, they can travel to any of the Schengen countries visa free too for stays. But in India, so there were number of days here. I was say udikodi wo. Number of days, you know, between 90 days to 180 days. Entity. Or no nukra ne passport no. Ye wo omaya. Sa omaya no. Any European Union countries, no ni territories ni bi assign exemption agreement. Enti obetimi ni kromu ni betima kudi 3 months and 4 months. Ewo ana 6 months ewo omanya mabobo sui emu so okura European passport. Sorry, say okura Australian passport, Brazilian passport, Canadian passport, UK, any US, any others. Enti say na ete. Jinchirechire mu ye. Ubonsu obi aye connection bi amawo. Osi wo onu akopie baabi. E wo se wo ye very careful mpacho akwantu onyam pepre ho. Akwantu enye empepre ho. Eye nkakra. Who is required to apply for a Schengen visa? You need a Schengen visa, however, if you are not a national of Schengen zone. Because a Schengen zone, a minor Omunyina be sa agreement in 1985, 5 countries no started here no. Na and I say if your home country ebia unya European but home country to say Brazil, Australia, Canada, UK, US ne aman bi aka no. Omo no assign visa waiver agreement with European Union. Ebi kura ye African countries ni bi. Ye wo African countries ni bi as citizens no etimi eko some of the countries no free simply because omo mine no ene omo wasa agreement no eno no ye frɛ no visa waiver agreement omo ni European Union for NSI. Now most of the Middle East, China, India, Russia, any 100 more countries no omo follow within that into no or man a passport as well. Now oko yen share the European commissions me omo the full list of countries with and without visa waiver with the European Union. My yen share na yemobo so na afemenfa course Monday meba betoa so ye were countries bi a European Union for omo ama omo sa visa waiver no omo no omo wo agreement and I said mreni nti nyankopon ya adoma Monday meba ye bebobo no so. But what type of visa ena ebi a wuhia Schengen visa no when you are applying TNE when you are applying you usually have 4 basic type of Schengen visa to choose. Obi ye Schengen visa de amawa Monday meba mema the full list of countries omo ewo sa visa waiver agreement no with the European Union. Any countries omuni na wate ase. Na me koje Schengen visa. Schengen visa. There were 4 main Schengen visa types. Ubitimi ajibi. Baku ye business visa. Baku ye work visa. And baku ye student visa. And baku ye short stay visa. Normally, no family visa is there. We are directly to the country na ukunu no ana wo yere no ana wo maame na ana wo papa na ana wo ba na ana obusuani no owo so. It is a maware na me yere wo Germany na me wo Ghana or file a direct from Germany. Ena ode ebe sponsor me. No a sponsorship outside Germany. Say me wuram ena ye ware a sponsorship within sa country no. It depends on the country. Enti no say o pese oje Schengen visa it be a business and it comes with its own requirement. Say your work ebia o pese wo call now koye o ye buy and sell oko baby to say Italy crowd there omo visas no omo ma uremu a ewo enhyehyeye bibra wutimi dinya de your friend say resident permit. Resident permit is different from permanent resident permit. Permanent resident permit there na just say wo de uti kromunum permanently into we half Italian. But omo categories bi ho ye wo permanent resident permit ye de ma wo eno na che say we self employed. Ebia wa be business bi all the to cars na wa ship de abagana. Eno ni nyina e wo honom. Enya no na na me kire but me de fam no wate ase. Tubonzu obi wa ne nkwa na nyina sa zone num no wo. Oko Spain so omo wo said omo no omo de ete. But enei no de ye ka ho asem ye visa woje. Na de akọ any of the Schengen communities. Ebetima ye business visa. Ebetima ye work visa. It is a work visa na kire say ye the job offer ni bibia to so eno ye ho adwuma wa ha pa. Krofu bebiri anya so mfa so. Afe na ado afidi ato ha na pese oni ye din sa wo so visa sensem ho na ye boa wo a eye 0244425804 go same travel and tour or just go simple and as a 050 015 1315 Obetim so afre sa number yi. Madam go same and obedi nkomo. Ena ye wo student visa. Nyankopon ya adoma by August September ekono Nyankopon adom ye nya agency a ye recruit nkrofo but ye di school ena be ye eko 7 of the Schengen communities ye ho adwuma. Na mesre urade se be ye fo. Enti wo ba na se opeso okobo bra eno ane se ya ye nkrata owuramu a oye adwuma a obe ko school adwuma na oye no hours no enkoye ketua bi nti ono abetima tua ne fees sa program no betima aboa no o man kro no so ama wanya ne permanent resident permit te sa America ye free green card no nti very soon meba na me de ho asema ba ye ho adwuma ene lawyers a o mo na beboa documentation e was 7 Schengen communities no so no didi nsa woso eno ye basa ye free bibi piloting ye piloting nipa miensa ne nan ne num na ehu sa ade no ye smoother afeni ye pia nipa agum sa na ye adwuma no etie ena ye wo visa Schengen de no ye free no short stay nyakopon ya adoma Monday ye ba ye be hwe ni nyina the most common one the world over no ewo ho no the short stay visa and ebimo frɛ no the type C visa and say tourist visa. The tourist visa no ye bruni ne frɛ no short stay and it allows you to travel through all the Schengen countries up to 90 days if any 120-day period. It depends visa na de be man but at least 90 days there ubetimi de atwa eno no na ye the type C visa ye frɛ no tourist visa short stay enti se obi ye Schengen visa amount o se ye adwuma no wo ye manfa application forms ni bi ama manfa appointment we na akohu short stay wo ho a na je say tourist no ya ama waju sika edi. Be very careful. If you are planning more than one trip to Europe, you will need a multiple entry visa. And then there is the type A, which is airport transit visa. Type C, no, a tourist visa. And a type A, no, a airport transit visa, which allows citizens of non-Schengen state to wait for a connecting flight or transit through Schengen airport. Uko ye transit. Me see baby to say France kra de. Wa kra 30 minutes kra ma uni airport. O kru no more fe to o musuro say nkrofo obedwane. Transit visa bebre no na nkrofo oje. No me de siki asylum. Otegana ha. Ebia ne ho ne ma nyina enso so obeje visa. Edi aku ebia baby to say Cayman Island and I said Trinidad and Tobago and I said ebia odebeko no baby chire baby kadi ye ma ne ho nso say obeje visa no odi akotena baby to say Canada odi akotena baby to say UK and I say European country be a develop enti no onim say ho enhyehyeye ne so enti rather obepe transit visa. Transit visa hen oko Jamaica. Transit visa hen oko Abia TNT Trinidad and Tobago. And I say oko any of the Caribbean countries na Ghana no omo was agreement na your visa free no. And I say different continent be. But or steady terrain na obewu say no. Meet me apply for transit visa afa Canada, afa UK, afa France, afa Italy, afa especially no na flight no airlines no any determine KLM echo baby bebre okay and they meet me the KLM akọ baby to say ebia Cayman Island but the Cayman Island no oko etubon say ya transit na or walande wo ebia ye fa ne say Lisbon or the tap Portugal air Portugal na call ye but ɛde ne kɔ baabi te sɛ Mexico the any visa free anyway but or ye find say normal transit and or ye the alcohol we here transit visa ebi mu kura didi aduro because or compare Amsterdam to Mexico or you're comfortable eti wagye visa na airfo ewo Mexico no se wo de fa ho na akoye fa nse ho no de fa or ye transit ebi obeda kru num ade eche a eti so obeda kru num ade eche ohia transit visa eti oje transit visa no obi ho no mkro mpo wanya transit visa no e two things obi ho e de be ma wo ansa na watu kwan no oman a omo security no omo ties ne nya strong no uduru a na e de ama wo na afi watwam akọ nti bi ho no mo a ubedi few hours obi otimi ko share washroom saa na ne flight na tuko na wako siki asalam on Omicron in Omicron oje transit visa na odi akoka so no it depends but it allows citizens of non-Schengen state to wait for a connecting flight. It was a connecting flight no beba na bia oduru krom o 2 p.m. the flight no ebeba 5 p.m. and answer 7 p.m. no mafiri bi at 9 p.m. Sa time honom na na ode ye no connection timi kura kope baby no wada ya coaching nti onim de obeye badanya no na me kire wa hase. What document do I need for Schengen visa? No egu ahodo betwem 45 minutes. Document we here for Schengen visa no egu ahodo simply because be a visa na open no for education to open student visa eti ho requirement any document ewo ho work eno nso de ewo ho business eno nso de ewo ho short stay visit and a tourist no eno nso de